Wow, week number 7, over the halfway mark, and this week I achieved quite a lot, so I'm really happy with the progress. I'm Matt Cumming, a graphic designer, author, songwriter, and massive fan of all things stylish and creative. When I discovered the remarkable results that everyday people like me were achieving through the Australian Institute of Creative Design's fashion mentoring program, I instantly knew that I had to give it a go to see if I could turn my own secret lifelong dream of creating a fashion label into a reality. But to really put it to the ultimate test, I decided to squeeze their normal program into an insanely short time frame. So I'll be fast-tracking 12 months worth of research, planning, branding, design, web development, production, marketing, customer service, growth management, and so much more to see if I can build a brand new fashion label from scratch in just 12 weeks. So join me for 84 crazy days to watch every single step of the agony and ecstasy unfold throughout my 12-week fashion launch. Firstly, and possibly most importantly, I nailed down the model that I talked about last week, and he's on board. I negotiated a lower cost, which was exciting that I was able to do that at the recommendation of one of the trainers at the Australian Institute of Creative Design, so I was very grateful for that insider knowledge. I've also picked the final patterned fabrics that I needed, so now everything is ordered, finalized, and has been shipped off to the shirt maker to make those shirts. I also began working on a Kickstarter campaign, put some real time and effort into that because it's going to be really important. I'm not going to have a launch party. I was toying with that idea, but I've decided that given the time frame and the amount of money that it might cost for something like a launch party, I just can't see the value in it at this point. I think it's much better if I spend my time, my focus, and my resources and my money on something like a Kickstarter campaign where I can get much more bang for my buck. The challenges this week were all about money. Unfortunately, sometimes it just does come down to that. The actual cost of the pattern fabrics at Fifi's was unfortunately very high. When I had sat down and looked at it, it was working out to about $24 a metre, which is actually unsustainable in terms of mass production of these shirts. So sadly, I won't be able to use Fifi's moving forward. The other money matter was in regards to marketing my Kickstarter campaign and getting that off the ground. I did get in touch with a few people that I know in marketing here in Australia and some that I didn't know but just seemed like good options, and also a couple in the United States who had a background in fashion marketing, but unfortunately the costs were just extremely high. Not something that I would want to do, taking a huge risk, outlaying a huge amount of money on something that does not guarantee returns at this stage of a business. Because my background is in helping small businesses, that's something that I feel very strongly about. I don't want to take a risk at this point with something that is outside of my control. I don't want to spend a lot of money on marketing if I'm not absolutely 100% sure that it's going to have a greater return. And even the shirts, to a certain extent, I've reduced my order. My original idea was to produce 100 shirts, and actually what I'm doing right now is I'm producing just 15 shirts and then taking pre-orders beyond that. I think this is a much smarter approach to building any business, not just in fashion, but particularly I think in something as fickle as the fashion market. You really want to make sure that what you've got is what people want before you invest a lot of time and particularly a lot of money into it. My main opportunities this week have sprung out of the need for cheaper marketing. And so I went to a website called Upwork, which outsources to people all over the world. Once I'd created a job on Upwork, then lots of people put in proposals, some of which I'd invited by searching around and looking for people in the right field of marketing and in the fashion industry. And some people had just noticed my job ad and sent in proposals for that. Now, most of the people who put proposals in for this particular job were definitely not highly skilled enough or not in the right industry. In fact, a lot of them were not really marketers at all. But within that larger group that I had to sift through, there were actually 2 or 3 that were highly skilled in marketing and also within the fashion industry. So I was pretty excited to attract that level of talent and the quality of proposals in, considering that my budget was set to just $500, which is definitely a significant difference to trying to hire somebody locally in Australia or in the United States, where you would be looking at a minimum of say $1,000 or $1,500, maybe just for one press release or something as simple as that. But instead, for just around $500, I'm getting somebody who's highly skilled in marketing within the fashion industry and who can deliver a full campaign for me, not just one measly press release. And whilst I'm pretty excited about Upwork and the potential of working with somebody overseas on my marketing, what's really given me the buzz this week is the photo shoot. The date is locked in, I've got a fantastic model and an amazing photographer, also one of the trainers at the Australian Institute of Creative Design, Maureen Trainer. So I'm really excited about that. Not only that Maureen has stepped up and is going to do the photos for me, but also that once I have those amazing photos, there's nothing stopping me from creating a really great marketing campaign, Kickstarter campaign, and of course my website ready to sell those shirts. I guess what I've learned this week is pretty simple, and that is that we live in a global society and that outsourcing your work has never been easier than it is today. And it provides amazing opportunities to connect with highly skilled individuals, to get the job done at a much lower rate. Of course, I'd love to bring that work back into my home country of Australia. I think it's great to employ people in your own country, and maybe I'll still do that. But at this stage, with the limited budget that I have and the limited time that I have, it just makes so much sense to go out there and find somebody overseas who can do a great job for, a half or a tenth of the cost even. I guess this week, in a way, has been about keeping an open mind. Some of the things that I thought would be outsourced have now been brought into Australia, and some of the things that I thought would be done in Australia have now been outsourced overseas. So really, I've had to remain very flexible and keep an open mind during this process, the 12-week fashion launch. So that's it, the end of week number 7, a pretty cool week. I'm pretty buzzed, and next week I'll be working with my new marketing assistant to get things moving with the Kickstarter campaign. So I think next week's going to be a pretty exciting week too, because it's going to be all about making plans to turn this dream into a reality.